Good evening. I am calling to order the meeting of the Arlington School Committee for Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. We have Dr. Ford Walker is remote, Ms. Gittleson is remote this evening, and we may have other presenters who are remote. Because all members are not present in person, we'll be taking roll call votes this evening. We don't have access to the Zoom chat function. So there's no public comment, but we want to begin with these students. So take it away.
Awesome.
You want to introduce yourself? Okay.
Into the mic.
You got to go into the mic. Oh, you got the cookies. Good.
They're eyeing them. Sorry. I'm Nate Smith. I teach predominantly at Ottoson Middle School. I teach 7th grade chorus. I teach show choir. I teach the younger version of this group. So a lot of these students here have had me since I first started here 6 years ago. And then lastly, we're going to be singing Dance by Robert T. Gibson. It has a little bit of dancing in it. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Dance to the rhythm of your own drum. Dance to the rhythm of your own drum. We can all be different, there's no fear or shame. Oh, but I still love you just the same. We can all be different, there's no fear or shame. Oh, but I still love you just the same. Dance to the rhythm of your own drum. Dance to the rhythm of your own drum. We can all be different, there's no fear or shame. Oh, but I still love you just the same. We can all be different, there's no fear or shame. Oh, but I still love you just the same. Just dance. Dance. Oh, dance. Dance. Just dance. Dance. Oh, dance. Dance. Just dance. Break it down now. Dance. Dance to the rhythm. Dance to the rhythm of your own drum. Woo!
That was great. That is the best opening we've had in a long time for school committee. You guys were great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Come back again.
Come
soon.
anytime. We're right upstairs. You can just pop in.
Take a cookie.
Quick question.
Yeah, go ahead. You got to get the mic. You know, you should probably put them. Yeah, just so the audience can hear you.
Well, so they're eyeball. I know there have been eyeballs.
I know the cookies.
Is it okay if they?
Yeah.
Okay. Cookies, go ahead.
Yeah, get
You
the.
guys are all good.
Take the cookies, take the cookies. Yeah, take them all, get them out of here, get them out of here. Nobody in our age group up here should be having cookies at this hour. All right.
Where are you calling over?
It's just meant as a statement of fact. I'm speaking for myself, right, Alham. Okay. Thank you very much. That was terrific. We're gonna have Jenna. Do you have any updates from the AAA?
No, we are good.
Okay, Jenna's here. Sophia and Zach, what do you got from AHS?
Okay. We have our really fun event of Battle of the Bands tomorrow. Everyone should come. Get really excited.
Cool.
It's at the Regent at 7:30. You can support, our lovely band members. Probably some of those students as well. Who knows? Who knows? We have our. Oh, do you want to do this?
Yeah, whatever order you.
Whatever you already want, guys.
Whatever
it's
order
fine.
we can do. We'll do those last. Okay, cool, got it. Okay.
Yeah. We have winter sports kind of coming to an end. Playoffs are starting for a lot of our competitive teams, and then sectionals and regionals and states are starting for track and swimming. Having a lot of senior nights for
Senior night tonight.
for sports. I have my swim senior night, so I have to leave early. We have a all-town concert in early February coming up, and then the student council is planning a winter crafts fair on top of Battle of Bands. That will be the end of February.
And then we didn't present our slides at the last meeting, but that's okay because we have our December Citizens of the Month. We have a freshman, Amelia Leary. She is a really bright student, and her peers say that she is the light in the dark. Her favorite saying is, "The rain isn't permanent," and she's just a really bright person in the classroom and makes a positive impact on the classroom. So yeah.
And then for our staff of the month, we have Miss Tupin. She's she's a fifth-year math teacher at AHS. I have her for AP Stats. She teaches pre-calculus and I think some other math class. I'm not really sure. But I can definitely agree with this nomination. She's probably one of the most enthusiastic teachers I have. And she's one of the teachers that you can really tell she loves math. She always makes jokes about math. Leading up to Halloween, she would always tell us to give us ideas for Halloween themed math costumes we could wear. She's just such a great teacher. So yeah, that's our December staff of the month.
Thank you, guys.
Also, we just wanted to add that when I reported back to our council about the override budget and the details on everything, people were really passionate about it, and a lot of people were asking me what they could do to help, where we can add our voices as student representatives. We just wanted to ask all of you guys, what do you want us to help with? Where can we spread our word? What can we do?
Does anybody want to answer that?
We can't answer that question here in this.
That's why I didn't
Yeah.
want to be.
Okay,
So
got it.
if you look around the internet, you can kind of do a search and you can find some places where you can learn more.
Got it, yeah.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
our best advice, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I believe I could come answer questions about the budget itself, the process, any of the content that was there, what the impact could be on all of you too. So if you wanted to invite me to a meeting at some point, I'm happy to share some of that information. Could you want to explain some of the reason why we can't?
We know
So
that
we
we can't
directly-
have opinions about it as a school and as a student, school affiliated place, we can't.
Anybody can have opinions about it.
Well, we can have opinions about it, but we're not
The law is
supposed to
we
promote
can't use a
our end.
public resource
Yeah.
to promote it. This is a public resource, that's what it's saying. So that's why I'm saying, generally,
Yeah.
there's information out there where you can go find out more. We can't
Perfect.
use a public
Yeah.
resource to promote anything.
Perfect, thank you.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, excellent, thank you very much, that was great. Any questions for the students? I'm sorry, does anybody, Mr. Schickman?
I'm just glad to see you're taking the AP stats.
Yeah.
How's your standard normal distribution?
It's pretty good. I thought we'd be done with it at the start of the year, and it keeps coming back, but
Yeah, that's pretty standard.
yeah.
Well, does anyone else want to ask? Any more math questions? Non-math? Okay. All right, very good. Okay, so first order of business is a discussion about a possible field trip, and we have
Mr. Dimick is, yeah, I have a different Graham in my head. Mr. Dimick is here.
Mr. Dimick. Yeah, Mr. Dimick. Thank you, Mr. Dimick. Did you want to speak to this first and give us an overview of the trip?
I'd be more than happy to. First of all, thanks for inviting me. I'll give my 2-minute. I haven't spoken in front of school committee since the old building. So,
Yeah.
just for those of you who don't know me, I've been teaching at the high school since 2015. I teach chemistry, but I'm also the faculty advisor for Model United Nations,
Nice.
and I've been doing that since 2016. And the club has continued to grow and grow and grow, which I think is wonderful. For those of you who don't know what Model UN is, we're an extracurricular academic club, and we just focus on talking about current events. But essentially, the goal is to try to attend conferences over the course of the year, which are essentially academic simulations. Students step into the shoes of diplomats, and they engage in debate, but it's collaborative debate, so I think it's really different than what they're doing in the debate club. Mm-hmm. This is all about addressing current events, addressing world issues, thinking about geopolitics and international politics, and they write resolutions on the fly, and they address real issues in real time, and so it's been an incredibly rewarding part of my career so far. So all I'm asking for today is we're planning to attend a conference next month that's hosted by Boston University. It's one we've attended in the past, but we've often commuted back and forth to downtown Boston. So last year we were approved to stay over for one that was hosted by BC. The students want to stay over for this one. It's downtown at Copley Plaza at the Marriott. But I think what's nice about the overnight conferences is that the students get kind of immersed in the whole weekend. There's not that sort of break of them leaving and going. There's a curfew at night, but generally speaking, the students spend so much time together with other students from other schools all over the region. BU's conference will be attended by students from all over the world, and they kind of get to be on the diplomatic clock. They get to feel like they're really immersed in it. And one of the opportunities that is sort of unlocked if they get to stay over is there are some committees that will do some midnight activities or some like late night activities where they'll kind of do crisis committees, and they'll wake them up in the middle of the night, and they'll get them kind of debating on the fly in the middle of the night. And so those have been some experiences that are pretty unforgettable. So that's kind of my blurb here, just looking for you all to think about that.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Dimick? Mr. Schlickman?
I just want to note that last year's group did extraordinarily well. And this is a very successful program, and I'm really glad to be able to vote in favor of keeping this going.
I want to add, BU is a kind of a special conference for me. One of our former student leaders, she graduated, actually she's a senior now, she graduated right around the time the pandemic started, 2020. And she is one of the captains of the BU Model UN team, and she's also one of the central organizers for this conference. So this is kind of the last time we get to see her doing in that role. She's an international politics major, so that's kind of special for us.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Can I have a motion to approve the field trip?
So moved.
A second? Second. Any discussion? We have to do a roll call. Ms. Gittleson?
Yes.
Ms. Sadat?
Yes.
It's almost perfect tonight. Ms. Exton?
Yes.
Mr. Carden?
Yes.
Dr. Allison Ampe?
Yes.
Mr. Schlickman?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Yeah, Graham, thanks for all you do with this
Oh,
program.
thank you. I appreciate it. Yep.
Okay,
Have a good
great.
night.
Jing Wei, it's your turn. Come on up. I've been waiting to hear from you.
All right, while Ms. Wei makes her way up here.
I have to find a right chair, right height.
I know, we should have planned that better.
We are going to talk about art tonight. I thought we may need a little bit of uplifting, fun, programming discussion. So we're going to start with performing arts, and Ms. Wei is going to talk about some of the programming that's been going on, some of the initiatives over the past couple of years, and then we'll shift over to talking about Ottoson and some of the work that has been done there to expand options for students and provide more choice. for our middle school students as they think about what's next for high school. So, Ms. Wade, take it away and let me know when you need me to advance the slide.
Sounds good. I should make note of my notes. Next slide.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I heard a comment about you saying inviting our bros back more often. And I just want to say that is why I think I have probably one of the best jobs in the world, because I get to observe that more than 60 times every year from various groups. So feel free to join me anytime to come to any concert. So when I started to prepare the presentation, the first word that came to my mind was joy. And next slide, please. So please take a moment, look at those pictures. So at the top we have the Arlington Dynamics, then we have the Almost Main, which we just finished in the new Black Box Theater. And the bottom we have Thompson Chorus singing for the community concert. Then that's me with a very happy crew after the concert and the HS Winter Concert. So before we get started with the whole presentation, just want to share something that I always tell audiences. It takes a lot of courage to get up and perform in front of people. It also takes hard work, many rehearsals, dedication, and determination to push through challenges. As we all know, now these young musicians, mind you, they're teenagers, do all that. And all of that to stand on stages, share their work, express themselves, and bring joy to all of us. I'm so grateful for APS Performing Arts team for creating a place where students feel supported and empowered to share their talent. Next slide, please. So on this slide, you can see some of the wonderful theatrical performances from the past 2 years. The top, we have Frog and Toe, 12 Nights, and we have Hades Town Teen Edition, which we presented last April. Since opening the new auditorium at high school, the stage has continued to grow more beautiful with each production. But the beauty and the joy we see on stage doesn't happen without collaboration. So today, first, I really would like to highlight the incredible work that happens behind the scene. So in this slide, I'd like to invite you to see the design of the set for Frog and Toe. That's a collaboration between the visual art teacher and our drama team, and same as a theater director designed the 12th night. Now, so I'm going to talk about how this all happened, like what we see on stage. Next slide, please. So the addition of a theater technical manager in the summer 2023 has been a true asset to our programs. Hal Nelson, who's here today, I decided to bring him because you usually don't get to see him. He's behind stage. And then he just shared with me one sentence I think is so true. He said, when everything goes well, you don't see me. But if something's wrong, you'll see me. So I think we're very lucky we haven't seen him. So that's why I decided to bring him to introduce him to you. So Hal has been really made a tremendous impact on our productions. He works closely with our directors, theater directors, ensemble directors, and students to design and build sets, teaching students how to safely use a carpentry tools in makerspace and how to bring those designs to life. He also leads students in lighting design and helping them to learn how to use the lighting and sound board in the booth. Those are true hands-on, real operation skills. And as we know, not every student wants to be on stage, but many still want to be part of production. And Mr. Nelson has been instrumental in creating meaningful opportunities for our students to making sure they feel included and valued as part of the team. He fosters a true sense of belonging and collaboration for all learners in every production. So one thing I think is actually not quite yet, if we don't mind go back to 2 slides. One more, right, so that the right bottom picture, I really want to highlight this. So one incredible improvement during our last production of Hades Town, we implemented the super title. So that provides opportunity for audience members who might need visual support, and audience can also better and follow and enjoy the stories. So that's something we are going to continue to do at every production. Okay, next 2 slides. So continue with what happens behind the scenes. I like to shift our focus to our day-to-day work with students. The performing art team provides APS students with a strong curriculum and rigorous instruction. And in these pictures are the testament to that statement. I regularly observe our conductors and directors leading students through focused, intensive rehearsals. So I want to share that picture on the top right corner. That's Mr. Simon leading a group of Arlington students right before the stage, focusing on one final detail before they send them on stage. So as a result of the dedication and the hard work, our high school chorale and sinfonietta received state-level recognition from MMEA, Massachusetts Music Education Association. They were selected to perform at the State House last May, highlighting both the high quality of our programs and the vital role music plays in our school. Next slide. So the high achievement for the higher grade level cannot be possible without the good fundamentals our K-5 team builds for our students. In this slide, I'd like to share with you our curriculum. We continue to follow first step music. Students learn tune 4, B4, or R4. They get knowledge on the most important elements of music in music classes. And to align with the newly implemented EL curriculum, you can see on the top we have a learning target. All the music classes and instrument classes have learning target in every lesson. So with the learning target, they are able to provide clear, focused, and purposeful lessons for students. And next slide, please. In addition to first step music, we continue to implement Musicians of the Month project in elementary music. The Musician Month project highlights artists from a wide range of genres, culture, and gender identities. This curriculum is designed to inspire students, broaden their musical horizon, and give them opportunity to see and learn about musicians who reflect their own identities as well as those of their peers. So the musician of, can we jump to the next slide first? Oh, not this way back, please. Thank you. Sorry about that. I guess I forgot that one picture here. I do want to highlight musician of this month is called Flame the Band. Not sure if you've ever heard of this band. The musicians of Flame have disabilities, including autism, Down syndrome, blindness, and paralysis. So through this lesson, I have heard and observed wonderful conversation in music classes. Students were deeply engaged in how Flame musicians persevere through their challenges, but focus on their abilities of music making to be strong and to inspire people and to share their music with the world. And through this lesson, our students became empathetic and more compassionate. And we'll say this here. Yes. Now, in this, what I want to talk about next part is the music performing art team also embraces interdisciplinary opportunities. Back to previous slide.
Okay, sorry.
So K-5 music teacher collaborates with classroom teachers to make EL songs. The top, Mr. Hamilton has a channel. If you have a chance, please click on his YouTube channel. He designed and sing the EL curriculum songs for students, because apparently the EL curriculum has a page going, make a song of this text, and without any backing support. So now our music teacher came in the vital role. They pick up their instrument and started making a melody for all those texts. And in addition to doing that, they also collaborate with visual art teams. So for example, right now, they are making a bird project. I think the second grade is learning birds. So the visual arts, making little birds, and they're singing bird songs. Yes. So I just want to highlight that they are truly immersing themselves into regular classrooms to be part of the team to make our students have a successful learning experience. And we also continue to incorporate music technology in our classrooms. So students are using digital platforms such as Chrome Music Lab, Beatbox, and Soundtrap in the middle school level, And the high school, we have Raber and all more professional gear music tech to create music. The top left picture is about the concert. Just last week, I observed students creating incredible music and perform, and just such a cool vibe to have those students who are not traditional BCO, band, chorus, orchestra, have a space to share their music. Next slide. So one of our main missions is to bring students most authentic experiences when we introduce music from different culture. So in the picture top right, you can see Miss Walker was introducing a Korean song, and we had an actual Korean composer here, and also the Korean musicians to introduce the music and talk about historical background of the song. And the other two pictures are from last April. We invited a traditional Chinese ensemble, instrumental ensemble, to perform for our students. They were actually presenting a workshop in an inclusion workshop at high school, and they collaborated with our symphonic orchestra. In the bottom picture, that's one of my favorite pictures. After their workshop, so many students were so curious about their instruments and came, talk, and try the instruments. Now, our students, chorus members, if you talk to them, they're gonna be always very proud to share that they sing 17 different languages last school year. Next slide. So as a result of the dedication work of our performing art team, one goal is to empower students to share their music with the community, not only within APS, but beyond our schools and into larger community as well. The Practice Buddy program, one of probably most popular program in club at high school. You can see the pictures to the left. So we started 4 years ago the Practice Buddy program, in which the AHS students support younger musicians as they practice their instruments. We have provided nearly 1,800 practice sessions since we started. And the top central picture is for our high school chorus. Does this annually, invite Menominee preschool students to sing and dance with them in the chorus room. So the top right picture, we can see Straddling Chorus, same for the community. Last night, they presented a full house concert. It was really fun because their pianist actually unfortunately got sick. So Mr. Thomas had to be playing several hats, playing the sound backing track, conducting. But everybody was so joyful after the concert. And you can see our musicians in community events such as Town Day, First Light, Arlington Women Club annual meeting, AHS ribbon cutting event, Japanese Sister City Exchange Program, and more. If you plan to attend AEF event next week, next week, January 31st, you will be able to see our volunteer vocals and string students providing wonderful music for you. So even next slide, please. And even our younger musicians started bringing joys by singing at assisted living. They went to Cambridge and they went to Lincoln. So here you can see a list of the places they've been, our high school volunteer vocals and jazz combo. One of the biggest events we just had earlier this month was the MMEA Northeastern District Senior Festival. We have a total of 418 students and more than 100 music teachers from 57 other districts participated and enjoyed our very beautiful facility. They're coming back next year. Okay, next slide, please. So much to celebrate. So we'd like to celebrate our numbers. So here is the numbers for this year. We have a total string musician from grade 3 to 12, 869, band 527, and vocalists in chorus, approximately 9, 10. The reason I say that, because it's just really hard to count that many kids. And I have more students participating in theater now. And bottom picture, that's our favorite, Mr. Ham, leading the Gibbs chorus. And top is our high school symphony orchestra. And bottom, that was our Artisan fall play production. So I do have the numbers from the eliminating the fee. So I'm just going to quickly share with you. So in 2021 to 2022, that was the last year, we had a user fee for instrumental program. The total number of participation between grades 3 to 5 instrumental was 475. The following year was the first year we eliminated a fee. We had 716 kids. Huge jump. Then the following year, 2023 to 2024, we got 861. 2024 to 2025, stay about the same, 852. And this year marks the largest enrollment in elementary instrumental program. Then grade 4 and 5, 286, grade 3 to 5, 629, a total of 915 students. Eliminating instrumental fee for in-school instrumental program has created a more equitable opportunity for all students to participate. And we are very proud of that work. Final, next slide, please. Upcoming events. We have many, many. Here are just some highlights. Next week, we have Gibbs Winter Concert. We have additional concerts for Old Town concerts. Instead of one Old Town Chorus concert, we're doing 2. And the Old Town Band concert is going to be the newest space. We're going to try out the big AHS gym because we couldn't fit everybody in the Artisan gym, not also in the auditorium. So we're going to try it out. So we're hosting one. And on March 27, 28, 29, our musical is going to be Jane Eyre. We really hope you can join us. Yes, it's going to be a beautiful show. And we also have Old Town Orchestra Concert on February 28th. Instead of doing 3, we have 4 concerts to accommodate all the students. And we also are going on a trip, as you know. We're going to Canada. So on April 15th, we will have the preview concert for our concert in Canada. And we're very lucky. I believe one of the ACMi member is going to join us and hoping to live stream for parents. So many, many more. And I certainly hope to see you at some of the events. Next slide, please. Now here is the wonderful list of our team members, staff, and teachers. Without them, we cannot do the work we do. Finally, as a performing arts director, APS teacher for the last 22 years, and an Arlingtonian, I just want to thank you, each one of you, for your hard work to make our education amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jing-Wen. That was really uplifting. I'm going to allow people to ask questions, okay? So, any questions, comments?
I just want to say, as a parent of 2 violinists in APS, sincere thank you. It's such an enriching experience for them, and they're able to access it cost-free with the exception of renting the instruments. And with that in mind and, the access that provides to our entire community, any thoughts on, if an override doesn't pass, what the impacts would be in terms of some of those impressive numbers that you presented?
Yes, I worry that we're certainly going to see decrease of the number, and the number is not what I'm concerned. I'm concerned about how family may not feel comfortable joining the program. Because we do provide scholarship for families receive free lunch or reduced lunch. But as we know, every family is a different situation. So some would feel more comfortable coming forward to share their concerns, but some may not. Some may just decide that we're not going to participate in this program. No.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Any other questions? Yes.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment. I just want to echo the thanks about all of these programs, and I just think it's so enriching the way that performing arts faculty and staff are collaborating with classroom teachers around curriculum. The piece you highlighted around the musical technology, where students who might not be traditionally musically inclined have been able to find a way to participate in music as well. And so I just, the numbers that you highlight here just show what a rich experience it is and how many students are benefiting from the performing arts program here in APS. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Schlickman?
I want to reiterate in many ways what was said. In context of moving into this new building we have, is that the building itself and the equipment we have is giving students the opportunity to work on modern equipment. And the makerspace is giving them the opportunity to build the sets. And this is one of the real strong benefits of rebuilding this school, is that it is providing more opportunities for more students because we have the facilities and the equipment that they need to put on a really world-class production. And make no mistake about it, before we moved into this building, productions in the old building were really good as far as the students were concerned, but the setting and the context and the equipment and the stage available then was definitely substandard. And I'm just so proud of this community for investing in this building to make this program a possibility.
Thank you.
Just to echo what everyone else said, this is a fantastic program. Just a little anecdote. Dr. Allison Ampey and I were leaving the high school last week after an event, and we ran into some folks whose children were long out of the public schools, but they went to see Almost Maine, right? The show, and they had just said it was a fantastic performance. And so I think what that illustrates is that our theater arts program, our arts and music program, really are things that are inviting and welcoming to the entire community. Yes. Because lots of people in the town whose children have long left the schools come to the events, they come watch the shows, the performances, they see the kids perform at Town Day. So I think it's something to understand that this really benefits the entire community. And of course, the students learn and grow. I had a student in the program, as you know, and that was a great part of his experience here. So thank you so much. This was a great presentation. Dr. Holman, did you want to add anything?
Yeah. I just want to point out that the investments that the committee has approved and that we've made in performing arts are so significant. Beyond the fees, when I started, we also had a part-time director who was partly retired and gave his whole self to the work when he was here. And having a full-time director overseeing it allows for the expansion of the programming that also allows for some of the creative thinking that goes into building out a theater program that allows the kids to engage in set design, that goes into making sure that any one of these concerts is appropriately supported and has what it needs. And so that leadership is very important, and I thank you for how much of yourself and your time and your energy you put into it, because I know that you are here into the late hours of the evening on a very regular basis. And so are you, Mr. Knowlton. And we have also, as part of the build for the high school, invested in making sure that our theater and our auditorium was well taken care of, which Mr. Knowlton oversees. And we wouldn't be able to have the kids building the set and learning about the technology and running the sound and the lighting without his support and his teaching of the students. And all of these are things that we have also invested in addition to removing the fees so that more students had access to some of this programming. So I am constantly reminded how impactful that is on the students' experiences and on the joy that they feel, and we saw some of that with the students who performed for us tonight. So well done. Thank you both. It's really a joy to see how much things have grown over the last couple of years.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Next, Next, we're going to bring up the presentation on the Addison Elect. Come on up. Ms. Rubino and Ms. Molnar. Mr. Molnar. Yeah, thank you.
Pull it up on my computer too. Yeah, I can see it. Just like having it.
And Dr. Ford Walker is going to be part of this presentation as well. So.
She's on the Zoom. I don't know if she's part of it.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for having us here this evening. We are excited to talk about our elective and special class pilot that we have been working on this year, thanks in part to some additional staff that we had added to our staff roster this year. We are going to talk tonight about some of the pilots that have been going on this school year and some of the work that we have been doing already as we have been refining what we're currently offering and looking into next year for some additional classes. It is funny because tonight, actually, just before we came here, we actually had our semester 1 art showcase and exhibit. And our additional, usually they happen by quarters, but we shifted to semester classes this year. And typically we've only had our visual arts programming at these events, but this year we included our additional specials teachers. So we had our technology teachers showcasing some of the work that the students have been doing in their technology classes. Our computer science teacher was there showcasing some of the work that students have been doing in their computer science classes. And we're really hoping to continue to open it up to more teachers and more student work so that students can bring their caregivers in and showcase what they're doing in their classes throughout the semester. You can move to the second slide.
Sure. So this work to reform the elective and specialist program at Addison came out of, in part, there's two pieces to it that brought it together. One was thinking about our strategic goal to focus on deeper learning. Core to deeper learning is student choice and agency, and finding opportunities for higher level learning and creativity. And our elective program, or specialist program as it was before this, there was a lot of wonderful things about it, but it did not provide much choice for students. So that was a big goal for us, was finding opportunities for choice. And then secondly, finding ways in those choices to go much deeper. A lot of the courses were more survey courses, and what you'll see when we get to those slides is a lot of the new courses being developed are much deeper and narrower, and giving students a chance to really find a passion in something and really engage with it. And then there's also
yes. And we also were looking at our schedule and looking at areas where we could improve the learning access for students. And one of those areas happened to be previous to this current school year, directed studies. And directed studies were unstructured time in the day that were really places where if students had a blank in their schedule, we needed to put them somewhere. So they were filler classes. And they were not providing rich learning experiences. Sometimes they led to some disruptive behavior or unstructured time. And we really wanted to change that and really provide opportunities for students to have more experiential learning and understand real-world implications from what they're learning in school and how that connects to the outside of the classroom walls. You can go to the next slide.
Right. So here you can see the old system before these reforms. So if you look, we have the 7th grade on the left, 8th grade on the right. There's a series of 4 requirements, so technology, engineering, general art, general music, facts, and then students did have a few choices if they had room in their schedule, and that was a big if. So some students were able to take band, chorus, or orchestra. There was an elective called ACE, that was sort of a project-based learning elective, and some opted for computer science. So there was a few students who would opt out of things. And then students who had got extra services, special services, often didn't have any of these opportunities in the old system. And also, there wasn't, again, in a lot of these, like in art and music, for example, again, there was just one class. So it didn't matter how advanced you were, how interested you were, you had that one class, and There were some students, again, who took band, chorus, and orchestra would maybe opt out of general music, but mostly everyone was just put into that without much thinking, or it was just the generic thing.
Yeah. So one of the things we did this year was a shift in how we offer the classes. Traditionally, in this old system that is up here, the classes met by quarter every day. And shifting our classes to a semester-based system where they meet every other day provided much more opportunity for students to take more courses and fit them into their schedule, along with other classes that they might need for academic support, math support, PE. It fits, as you think about the schedule as a puzzle, it's able to balance each other out in the 4-day cycle, which offers more opportunity for students and access for students. So it provided more options, and it provided students to be able to choose and be able to participate in these specials classes this year. You can go to the next slide. As we have been doing the work this year, and as we have been rolling out these specials classes, we have already been working to refine them and think about what we can do differently for next year. So thanks to the hard work of our specials committee teachers who have been meeting after school during our committee meeting time, we have already refined how we are designing our courses for next year. So for grade 7, we are shifting slightly, and we are going to require all students to take Foundations of Design Engineering, which is formerly our technology course. We are requiring all students to take Foundations of Visual Arts. All students will take FACS. And then Performing Arts, students are going to be able to choose from one of the following that we have listed here: band, chorus, orchestra, bel suono, Singing Bros, musical theater, theater arts and acting, and music production. Additionally, students are going to be able to select other specials options that they will be able to fit into their schedule, and we're asking students in rising grade 7 students, so current Gibbs students, we're asking them to select their 3 choices, and we're going to do our best to honor one of the 3 classes so that we can fit into their schedule. So if they want to, if they're in band and they want to choose another performing arts class, they can choose one of those classes from the list. They can also choose OMS Brain Shop, Coding and Digital Skills, Math Enrichment, Multimedia Storytelling, Unified PE, Lights, Camera, Action. We're going to highlight a few of these classes in some slides down below. We did not put every single one of these courses on here, but you do have in your packet an explanation of the courses in the course description, so you can look at that if you're interested in learning more of the course descriptions for each of those classes. You can go to the next slide. So for grade 8, when students get into grade 8, they have slightly more choice because we start to build the foundation in grade 7, and then we allow them to go into more depth and choose additional classes. So students, again, in grade 8 will all take FACS class, and then they will have some options for the visual arts specials class. And those options are 3D sculpture studio, 2D drawing, painting, and digital art, and mixed media. For design engineering, they can choose from digital societies, game design, or Shark Tank. And then performing arts, they have all of these options that they can choose from: band, chorus, orchestra, bel suono, Singing Bros, play production, musical theater, theater arts and acting, and music production. Next. And then one more slide. And then they can also choose additional specials classes, such as OMS Brain Shop, Coding and Digital Skills, another math enrichment for grade 8 students, Multimedia Storytelling, Unified PE, and Lights, Camera, Action for 8th grade students.
And I just also add, this is all in the developing process. So the teachers are, you'll see some of these courses have the same name. So a lot of the teachers they're just developing this now. There's a lot of invention on the fly. In some cases, they've been this year offering the same course to both 7th and 8th grade, just sort of to figure things out. And then next year, they're going to keep going. So this is really still a pilot, and you're going to see over the course of a few years, these offerings will be refined and changed as they figure out what kids want, and also as we refine our practice and also expand what's possible by reforming and building our capacity through the technology we have on hand, et cetera.
So we have a couple of classes that we wanted to highlight. We have some photos, and this is one class that has been running since the beginning of the year this year, and that's our musical theater class, and it is extremely popular. We had so many students want to take this class, and we tried to honor as many as we could. And what I love about this are the quotes from the students who say, "I look forward to this class all day. I like the games we play, but I think my favorite thing is the final project we're doing. This whole class is just good vibes. I actually enjoy the work you give us." So quite a variety of quotes that just show how the students are engaged in their learning and looking forward to this class. We can go to the next slide. This is, in the next slide, it's the description. I'm not going to read that, but that's the course description, which you have access to as well. You can go to the next slide. Music production is another class that we have started running this year. This is also thanks in part to a grant from AEF. And students are able to use classroom project studio equipment, digital audio workstations. They are able to create sound recordings, beat making, and audio editing. So we're really excited about this class, and we're also excited about one of the courses that we're offering next year, Lights, Camera, Action, and how they might even work together as they create videos, and the music production class can create audio to go along with those videos. So there is that cross-curricular connection, and as we continue to expand, thinking about ways that we can use some of what students are learning in music production to apply that to maybe a civics action project or something that they're doing in their science class for a science expo that we have coming up in 7th grade this year. And you can go to the next slide and turn it over to Leo for visual arts.
Yeah, so just showing some examples of the way we're trying to differentiate and provide more choice and depth. So the visual arts class, which was just, again, one 7th grade version and one 8th grade version, will be split into a sculpture class. There'll be, again, a 7th grade foundations, where they're experimenting with both 2D and 3D. And then in the 8th grade, they're going to be having 3 choices. So there's sculpture class where they get to try out ceramics, as well as other 3D forms and materials. There'll be a 2D class, which is traditional drawing and digital art. We've been gradually expanding our collection of iPads, so we now have a class set at the Audison, which allows us to go deep in digital art, which a lot of the kids really enjoy. And then we'll be adding a mixed media class as well next year. So again, it's all about getting the kids' choice. I mean, these kids come to Audison with, they've spent their whole elementary career with, almost no choice in anything they do, and here we're finally trying to expand that, and the kids are really excited about it. And our work is, if you get a chance to stop by, the work will still be up tomorrow. You can see what's resulted from that.
And these photos in particular are photos of the ceramics from this year. So we are using the kiln. I don't think that's been used for many, many years, but we are using it this year. And these are just examples of ceramics project that our students did in semester 1 and that are currently on display in the art hallways right now at Audison. You can go next.
Yeah, this is another example.
I love this quote. I just have to read it. This was, I asked one of the teachers to share some information for this presentation. So this was what she had shared. She said, "This student was in total shock when she finished her drawing. She was so proud of it. She said, 'I can't believe I actually drew this.' It's one moment in a number of moments during the semester when students have shared that they have surprised themselves with their newfound skills." So they don't even know what they don't know until they try it out, and that's one of the things that I really like about offering all of these specials classes for students is they don't know what they don't know, and then they realize, wow, I can do something that I didn't think I could actually do.
Next slide, please. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the changes to design engineering. So actually, if you could just go to the next slide. So just to preface this, at the high school a few years ago now, we took the makerspace and the CAD design classes and the engineering classes joined with the art department. And this has led to a huge shift in the way people think about design and engineering and the arts, and trying to really break down what are artificial barriers between these different areas. The idea being that everything we make, everything we consume, everything visual, and is a form of art, and we want kids to think about that in everything they do. So there's already been a big shift where students are doing a lot of design work using CAD software in our design lab at the Makerspace, and then learning all these different fabrication methods, and then using our Makerspace and our clean room, like 3D printers, laser printers, et cetera, to then build these things that they come up with. Also, a whole architecture component has been added with the kids, again, learning the software and really making professional designs. This year, we have piloted the same sort of program at Ottoson and Gibbs. So the technology engineering teachers, which I prefer to call design engineering, because technology is really so vague. A word doesn't really mean much of anything. Everything in this room is a form of technology. But what we want kids doing is designing and then building and engineering. And so those teachers have this year joined the art department, the visual arts department, and it has allowed us to really think much more broadly and think about the habits of minds and ways of thinking that we want kids to develop as they grow. And this, again, is something that's so essential for a world where they're coming into where none of the jobs they thought were going to be secure are going to be secure, and your ability to problem solve and be creative are really going to be paramount, right? And so that's a lot of what we're thinking about. So some of the changes we've made to the curriculum, one, we're trying to, do a lot more 6-12 alignment. Again, these were very siloed before. Secondly, as I said, we're focusing on the habits of mind. So when we look at the standards, there used to be much more of a focus on teaching directly to the 8th grade MCAS, where kids were doing little quizzes on vocabulary that might come up on the test, and they were, doing very short, discrete lessons that just covered things, but they weren't going into depth, and they weren't really doing much building or fabrication. With Ottoson, we're still transitioning, but the space there is still far more primitive than it is at the high school. We do not have a lot of the fabrication tools that we want to have. Even just in terms of like hand tools are like, we have very few of them. So we've started this year to really build those up, and we have new teachers in who are really a great expertise in engineering and are working together to build that up and add much more. So we're bringing Glowforge online and refixing our 3D printers, bringing in computer programming as to part of the fabrication methods they're doing. So there's a lot more to focus on depth and the kids experimenting and playing and trying things out. If you go to the next slide, you can start to see, let's get, so those are examples of the electives they'll be taking next year. They can take, but if you keep going, you're going to see kids experimenting. So there's a lot more focus on kids doing design challenges, working collaboratively in teams. These you can see are just, very quick things that are all about just taking on a challenge and seeing how you do and figuring out how to work together in a team. So there's a lot more focus on that. If you go to the next slide, there's more focus on like product design and kids learning, doing research in a field and then developing products of their own making and design, and thinking both about function and form and aesthetics. Next slide, please. And this is, again, this is still in progress. These are not finished, but a very creative thing Basil Jesse, one of our new engineering teachers, is doing is he's having the students, they're designing board games, so to speak, but the board games are about complex engineering systems. So one board game is about energy. So there you see a model of the Fukushima reactor on the left that a student made for their board game. There's one on the bottom also, that's another one about energy. The one on the top right is about systems of delivering products to people. So it's all about systems thinking, which again is something, it's in the standards, it's on MCAS, but here he's figured out a way to make it fun and engaging, but they're also building all the pieces using the 3D printer and the Glowforge, and so they're learning the fabrication method. So then next year when they keep going, if they choose those electives, they can go further and build much more complex things. I think if you go to the last slide, you also see they're starting to learn programming as well and coding. The last thing I'll say, another thing that's been really wonderful this year is the computer science teachers have sort of voluntarily, who are in the math department, been joining with our meetings with our visual arts and design engineering teachers, and they're starting to have these conversations about, well, gee, how can we get the kids learning the coding, learning the fabrication methods, and the aesthetics, and then putting that together in their own projects. So there's a lot of really exciting stuff happening, and we're just at the beginning of it. Thank you.
Okay, questions, comments? Anyone? Commissioner Gardner?
I have quite a few, but, so interrupt me when my time is up, Mr. Thielman. So I'm trying to understand what's changed. The schedule itself hasn't changed. You still have 7 periods a day, is that right?
Yep, you still have seven periods. We changed the structure, so the classes meet for instead of a quarter and then they switch, they meet for a semester every other day, which allows you to have several classes happening at the same time. So typically, previously, our PE classes, still, this all happens right now, they meet all year long, every other day. And a academic support class may meet every other day. So you could place that opposite in the schedule, a PE class. If we had only a quarterly class that meets every other day, you could not put that opposite a PE class because PE meets on that, red period, A and C days, so they would have to go to their PE class that day. So it provides more flexibility in the schedule to take additional classes within the structure of your day.
So, just interrupt, but each of these classes, you can only take 4 at a time, right? So they have 2 periods where they're taking these classes that meet every other day.
Yes.
So everybody can take 4 at a time. So if somebody has an academic support class and phys ed, and they're still taking the 2 required classes out of the 4 required classes.
Correct.
2 in the first half of the year, 2 in the second half of the year. So you haven't really opened up the electives to those people. They can choose within so you have electives within the 4 required classes now, which is wonderful.
Yes.
You have art electives, you've got performing arts electives.
Yes.
But the other electives, the non-required classes,
Yes.
the kids that are in academic support or math support still do not have the ability to fit that into their schedule, right?
They may. It's really individualized, so it depends on how many times you need academic support. It depends on how many reading classes you need. So it varies. So some kids may not be able to fit as many, but previously there was no option if a student had those constraints in their schedule because you could not take a class that meets every day for a quarter. Now that we have a little bit more flexibility in the schedule, it opens it up so students can take an additional class. It still depends individually on each student's schedule and what their academic and learning needs are, but it does offer more flexibility than previously, having the classes meet as a semester every other day.
Okay, I'm not sure I buy that, but that's fine. Let me move on. So
It does. It's true. It does.
It's
true. So how? Can you explain?
Yeah. So
the number of courses is still limited to 4 at a time. It was 4 at a time.
I think what Rochelle is saying is that while time is what time is, right?
Yeah.
And if you have something, you can't have all the things, right? But this year's schedule allows some of what was previously inaccessible to students with extra services because there were things last year that did meet every other day, and that precluded that period to be an every day for a quarter class. So if you had math support every other day, you might have a hole there in your schedule opposite math support, but we couldn't fill it with music because music meant every day for a quarter.
Because you couldn't put math support against phys ed for that student?
It doesn't work that way in the schedule for every student that they're,
Okay.
you can't have a phys ed class of 55
that clarifies
kids,
it, right? There were some students that had empty classes, and this is easier to fill those empty classes.
We can fill those holes with things when everything is an every other day.
Okay, great.
You have more options to fill those classes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think it's also worth noting that you've electivized some of the required courses at 8th. So there are courses that every student would have taken that they now have some choice about what they take.
Right. That's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the other classes that are still inaccessible for a certain portion of our population.
Right.
So what happened to computer science?
It's still there. It's coding and
digital skills.
Okay.
It's still there.
And that's,
at both grade levels.
and
7th
that's
and 8th.
still the elective that for the student that I'm talking about that has academic support won't be able to access.
They might. That could be a choice that they make, and they are able to take it because it meets for a semester every other day, and it could go opposite an academic support class.
And some students with academic support or other support needs don't take a language, and so that opens up another.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
Yes, great, thanks. Okay, and then one other question. I mean, you said design and engineering, you've changed the focus from standards versus teaching to the test, but we've been talking all fall about how successful we've been on the test. So do you have any concerns, about those skills not being as strong as a result of this change?
I don't. I think, firstly, the teaching to the test is often an illusion in that, let's say if a student has, technology and engineering for 1 quarter in fall of their 8th grade, and then in May they take a test where there might be 4 or 5 out of the multiple choice questions that might touch on that, something they studied either in 7th grade or for fall and 8th grade. They're not going to remember that. I mean, they might remember it, but the chances that and especially if you do it in a way where you're just covering a lot of things quickly. There's actually a lot of research on that. That stuff's just, kids don't remember it. Standardized test prep is generally very short-term retention. So, and if you look at the questions, and I've certainly spent time examining them carefully, a lot of them really are about habits of mind. And if you have the ethos of design engineering and that process, and you've gone through the problem solving of building things and designing things, you're going to be able to handle most of those questions and figure them out from context. So no, I'm not really concerned or worried at the moment about how they'll do on the MCAS because of that. But what's exciting is they'll hopefully be much more engaged and excited about science and engineering. And that's hopefully they'll be, stick to it more. So.
Okay. All right, last question. So this is all wonderful, but as far as the 7-period schedule and the way the school is structured, is that not going to change in the near future, or is that just something you're no longer looking at changing?
We are still planning to run a 7-period schedule next year. Might we have to look at options to change that? Potentially, but that's not something we've looked at yet.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Carden. Other questions or comments? Dr. Allison Ampe?
Okay. So I'm looking at these, and first I noticed that ACE isn't there as an option unless ACE is something has been renamed.
It is OMS Brain Shop.
Okay.
So a lot of people didn't understand or know what ACE meant, and this new name helps to give more clarity to that.
Okay.
And I can also add, if I may, the teacher, Sarah Huber, felt like she really wanted to change what she was focusing on, and part also because everything else has changed. Before, there was very few choices for students, and so for students who wanted to do project-based learning and experimentation, ACE was like the only place they could do it. Now, with the reforms we've made to the design and engineering curriculum, that is almost all now project-based. So a lot of what was in ACE is now kind of in a lot of different places, and that left her kind of free to focus on much more depth on brain science and that kind of research for kids.
Okay. And second, I just wanted to ask, so I know that there's been at least one student, one family, one student who this past year was interested in just having basically a study period instead of one of the electives. And I can understand that because some of the students, they're just trying to not be stressed. And that was not an option for them. And I'm just wondering, why not have that as an option for kids? Maybe you want to make it a little bit, they have to do a little work to actually get into it, so it's not just the easy out, but
right.
Just, yeah.
So we do have a learning center, which is for general education, for all students, general education students, and they are recommended by their teacher or counselor for that, and that is essentially more of a structured I guess you could say directed study, but it's structured with a teacher who's there helping them organize their materials, understand what they need to work on. So we do offer that. It's not an elective in the sense that students are going to select it, but it is an option there, and it is part of our MTSS process as a tiered support system. And we do offer additional support classes, like I had mentioned, math support, reading support, a writing intervention that we're trying out for quarter 3 as well for some students. So there are options for students to get that individualized support and places to do that work if they are feeling overwhelmed or they feel like they need that. And that's through our MTSS process or referral from a counselor or a teacher or a parent has reached out to us about the need for that, and that's something that we can offer for students as well.
Okay,
And we do.
so this person hadn't been in one of those paths at that point, but if they felt like that was really important to them, they could reach out to their
Yep.
teacher, counselor, and say, look, I would really much rather be doing studying so that I don't feel overwhelmed, rather than just having to take an elective and go with the elective.
That is a conversation we have asked them to reach out to their teacher about, engage in a conversation with their counselor. And it's flexible, so you can move in and out if you've gone through and you feel like you're doing okay. It's something that you can move into a different class as the quarters and semesters shift.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Schlickman?
Yeah, I want to get back to the scheduling issue and why you're moving to a semesterized every other day. I've written enough and participated in enough IEPs that the prescription within the IEP is X number of minutes per week, which is usually less than 45, 47, however long the periods are. And so that I can understand how the student would end up in some sort of IEP mandated support on an every other day basis, which would make this dovetail. How many students right now, and if you don't know the answer, that's fine, because I don't expect you to be able to pull it up right now, but if you have a ballpark, you feel free to answer. How many students right now are plagued with holes in the schedule because of the way the scheduling works?
How many have holes in their schedule currently?
Yeah, currently, so obviously we're solving a problem for kids who are in this situation where they're taking something like an IEP support that is not a full 5 periods a week thing.
Right. I mean, at the moment, I would say there are no holes in the schedule because they have to go somewhere. So we don't have any students that have holes in their schedule because they are in a class or a specials class.
But how are they making it in? They're going to the specials class every other day then, or?
Well, the specials class meets every other day, yes.
Well, right now.
Yes, it's a semester class. It meets every other day.
I thought we were going from quarterly to semester.
That was last year they were quarterly. This year we moved to semesters.
Aha.
Yes.
Okay. So you've solved that problem with this.
Yes.
And how many kids were impacted by the fact that they're now able to fill out the schedule?
I don't know the number off the top of my head, but it has been able to provide us with giving students, when they ask for certain courses that they want, we've been able to provide that. So certain classes that students really enjoy, like a chorus class or an art class where they maybe would have had to miss that class that met that quarter every day, we are now able to find a place to put it into their schedule so they can get it. Doesn't mean, if they still have, they need reading, they need academic support, they may not have room in their schedule to fit every single specials class that we offer, but we are able to ask them what their choice is and provide them with that choice so that they can get something that they feel energized about, excited about, that they want to be at school for.
Yeah, forgive me if I'm spending part of my time in fiscal 27, because I think a lot of us have our heads there. So just a follow-up question there. What would, and I guess maybe the superintendent might be the best person to answer this, what would be the impact of what you're doing now should we need to make substantive cuts in the budget?
So we do have, first of all, if you look at the list, this is not prominently featured on that list of potential reductions for FY27. There is a potential 0.5 that I've discussed with Ms. Rubino. She would suggest which of these electives we would potentially not run. It might result in some higher class sizes in some of the other electives. I think it's worth noting that there were a couple of things that were the motivators that are more technical. I really appreciate the instructional focus that the team is giving here, but there were holes in students' schedules in the previous model, and now there aren't.
Yeah.
So that's problematic, I think, in middle school. You really want students to have a filled-out schedule, acknowledging that what that is should be responsive and according to what their academic needs are. We also had over-enrolled classes previously. How big were some of the classes at their largest?
Some of them were 27, 28, 29 students in the elective classes.
We had corrected for LC size over a number of years, but not fully for elective. For the special courses, we didn't have electives at the time at OMS, and so we needed to bring those section sizes down. And another thing that Principal Rubino worked on was how to build a schedule in a way that didn't have all of those classes in the last 2 periods of the day. We had done it that way because that provided for the LC meeting and common planning time schedule, that teachers needed. They're part of a middle school model. Those move differently through the schedule now, which allows us to spread those courses out, which allows for some slightly smaller class sizes. So the amount of scheduling work that goes into a model like this is really significant. And it was also about addressing class sizes, addressing holes in schedules. And because the enrollment is going up at the middle level, it really isn't doable as some larger classes continue to move through OMS for us to do significant reductions in any of these areas if we want students to have full schedules at the middle level and not have classes that are 30 students a piece, which you really can't do in a ceramics class anyway. So it is minimal for FY27. When you start talking about FY28 and 29, we would need to revisit whether or not we can do this really innovative work that the team has done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't have anything else to add. Great presentation. I appreciate the updates. I mean, the one thing I would say is that all the new programming, it seems to me, would be something that would motivate kids the way you've designed, expressed it, to be a lot more engaged in their whole educational experience at the Addison. So that is the positive of what you're doing, I think, at a high level. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Appreciate you coming in. Did you want to say something?
I just want to quickly add that I was with a family for a listening, I was with a few families for listening sessions last night, and they stopped to talk about how incredibly excited their student is about the ceramics class that they're taking right now, and also talked about how excited they were about the opportunity to choose classes as they headed into the school year. In 7th grade, and how excited they are about 8th grade and there being even more options for them. So I know how much thought has gone into this. I really appreciate the alignment with the strategic plan, and kudos to you, and thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Finance report.
All right, Mr. Schweitzer, I will hand it off to you. Do you want me to pull the document up?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah. Tough to follow those two wonderful presentations. I also can't sing or dance, so I'm just going to speak to the finances here. I think I can. My wife says I can't, but she's watching. She's lovely. I love you. So this is my second update to the committee here. My first one came when I was here for just 3 weeks. I've now been here about 3 months. I want to thank the administration, my entire finance team, all the district leaders that have kind of supported my onboarding, have answered my many, many questions as I've continued to dive into the finances of Arlington Public Schools, historical numbers, how we've used revolving funds, grants, and such to better inform this projection, as well as the development of the FY27 and future budgets. I'd also like to thank, before I get into the report, the budget subcommittee for all of our ongoing discussions within that body of work. That's kind of helped better inform the information, what to highlight here. And I hope you see an improvement in that. I'm open to any feedback and any questions you have as we go through this update. So what can you expect from me today, kind of what's changed since the update 2 months ago? I think first and foremost, just wanted to highlight that in the chart you see, I'll probably focus mostly on the object code summary chart, which I think is about pages 2 through 7 or 3 through 7. Everything that you see there that's in the column from the budget, what's expended already or encumbrance, I'm happy to report that that's directly from the financial software. It's not that it wasn't 2 months ago, but what has changed since the last report is that now we are fully operating with encumbrances for payroll directly within the financial software. I know that's been an ask of the committee since before I even got here. We were refining it as I was preparing the last update. Happy to say for the last 2 months we have been executing that. So upon every single weekly and bi-weekly payroll being posted to the system, our payroll director and our finance director are able to work together to re-encumber the remaining pays for the year. I think this promotes a sense of transparency in what's actually being posted to the financial software. Nothing in those columns is being manipulated. And I think the second piece to it is also at the bottom of that chart on page 7, I'm kind of highlighting an additional layer of potential add-backs and add-ins that result within the balanced budget. So I hope that this kind of promotes a sense of transparency as we're going about the budgeting, ensuring that we're charging expenditures correctly. It's kind of a self-audit on myself for things that we need to continue to clean up and work on. Some of the things I'll speak to in the add-backs and add-ins are things that are in transit or have just happened since this report. Ideally, I'd love to see that probably by the next time I do an update to this body, that'll come forward with potential transfers between some of those spending categories to help balance the books and make this a little cleaner going forward. If we can go to page 7, I'll spend a little bit of time just highlighting on kind of the add-backs and add-ins. So as we get to 7, you can see the forecasted, if you will, so the actual expenditures and encumbrances in the books are posted there within those columns. The same methodology or assumptions that this body's been accustomed to, as well as I reported last time in the non-personnel lines, is that at this point in the year, we're looking at everyone's operating budget to be spent fully. That's something that we'll be looking at a little bit finer here as we get through this budget season and get into the spring, is to ensure that we're not over-carrying in any encumbrances that were placed on our orders probably in March or April, and able to close the books and really relinquish and release some of those POs to the bottom line. So that'll be looked at a little bit more strictly as we get into the next update and the one after that. The top 2 items here I have kind of in that table below the chart are kind of administrative items that my team actually just worked on in the last couple of days, so these are now posted. But we did a recent amendment to the IDEA 240 grant here for FY26. We're able to allocate what historically has been teachers, but is now the paraprofessionals, about $1.4 million to the grant. Administratively, just moved those over, so all their future payrolls are going to hit there, and any actuals since that amendment was approved has been reclassified. So that's something that's been cleaned up just as of yesterday. The last administrative item, and again to the point of auditing the books, one thing I promised from last update that did about halfway is cleaning up circuit breaker. One of my observations coming into the district was that we weren't charging directly or encumbering directly to circuit breaker. It was more of a kind of a near year-end reclassification. What we've since done since the last update is encumber to circuit breaker a handful of POs for sped tuition, and all those actuals are going to charge there. What we've yet to do, but was just done today, is we reclassified actuals for those POs. What I want to highlight on circuit breaker, and I presented this to the budget subcommittee yesterday, is I'm happy to have come into a district that carried a full year of circuit breaker. The amount that we're charging the circuit breaker right now is the allowable carryover from last year. So as it is right now, we still have our full sped stabilization fund, which is about $820K. And then we also are still carrying our full year of this year's circuit breaker into next year as of this point. So I'm happy to report that. The next 2 items are kind of add backs into the budget, if you will. So why I'm highlighting these are items that are not encumbered directly into the financial software, but they're kind of key areas that I'm tracking as potential adds here over the next couple months as a kind of conservative measure, if you will, in the projection. The first one you see there is additional sped transportation. This is still a number that we're analyzing and reviewing. I gave an update to the budget subcommittee yesterday on it. As I get continued information and we get additional invoices here over the next couple weeks and months, I'll continue to report back. The reason why there's a placeholder here is that a majority of our sped transportation budget is coordinated through Lab Collaborative based on the schools that they have reps for. The contract that we have with Lab is that we pay a percentage of our Arlington students as a percentage of the students on that bus. Not unique to Arlington, not unique just to Lab, but all across the state, is we're seeing a higher quantity of individual rides and/or we're seeing maybe in other districts changes to IEPs or scheduling changes that basically have reduced the number of students that are on an individual bus. So say easy math is say a bus of 4 and 2 Arlington students, 2 from another district, we would pay 50% of that bus's cost. We have been seeing more and more solo rides or less students on each individual ride. So that same example this school year could be our same 2 Arlington students on a bus of 4, but there aren't 2 other students, so we're paying the full cost of that bus. The reason why I have this placeholder here is we've only received invoices through October. We've yet to receive November. So it's a number that we're still working with Lab to get more information. Once we do get that November bill, we'll continue to analyze that. But as of right now, it's been an 85% increase just with our lab transportation year to date through October. So that is a placeholder I have right there that I'll keep transparent on this report and continue to report back as we get more info in the year. The last place I have here for additional projected expenditures, this is everything outside what I want to highlight, the sped transportation. These are some things that, again, are just not fully encumbered yet in the budget or we haven't gotten to. Some of that 565 there I have a placeholder for some of our current vacancies that are posted that might get filled here in the next couple months. So I have a sensitivity that some of those will be filled and then added to payroll actuals and future encumbrances. We also have yet to tap into our snow plow contract that the town has, and the school has an aspect of that. We've yet to tap into that, but I do have a sensitivity placeholder that we may have to. We've been very fortunate that even in this, the cold weather and the snow, that our facilities team, our custodial team, has been doing a tremendous job. Our facility laborers are able to work within the trucks and clean the parking lots, salt and sand. We've been doing a tremendous job there and have yet to tap into the contract, but I do have a sensitivity conservative placeholder there. And then to balance the budget here, conservative again, is that I know we can easily tap into at least 800,000 of revolving to help balance the budget. Again, just as we're summarizing this report here, I'm open to any feedback on what information you'd like to see additionally in the future. I'll obviously keep the subcommittee as well as the whole body kind of abreast of what's going on with the sped transportation, and happy to answer any questions you have on the report tonight.
Any questions? Mr. Cardin.
Thanks. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate all your hard work in getting this report in such a great shape. So a couple of questions. So starting at the end, the 800 transfer, it would be useful to know what we had budgeted for those transfers and how we're diverging from what we had planned.
Sure.
So this is a future item. And then the transportation does that appear as contracted transportation, 52404?
It does, yes.
Okay. So that line item, though, you already transferred $500,000 in, right? So are we saying we're 900,000 over budget?
So, just trying to pull it up. So to my recollection, and I believe you'll know the number because this was right before I got here.
Yeah.
I believe if you're looking at the second column, is that where you see about a 500?
Yeah.
So I believe some of that might be carried forward POs upon last year's closing that still had to be paid. I believe this body in September had approved around 300K or so from some vacant positions that have been put on hold and some other stipend to cover some industry transportation, sped transportation as well. So that's embedded within that 500K. What is already encumbered was our projected budget within lab. So the reason why I presented the almost $500,000 of sped kind of below is, again, I'm showing anything that's above and beyond what's already on the books. So what's on the books was our original projected budget with lab. So this is part of that percentage that would be above and beyond.
So the 723 that you've encumbered is what you're projecting, but you're also holding 400 more.
Correct. So that 723 would be inclusive of lab, but it would also be inclusive of other contracts that we've had to do outside of lab for those that lab doesn't have a current route to a said school. So we have 1 or 2 students going to a said school. We might have to contract with NRT or some other vendors.
So also, when we did that correction in September, that was to correct for what was, I would argue, an error in how we budgeted sped transportation, that we should have budgeted that higher. So then we corrected for that with a move of some operational funds into that line. And now we are over what we would have otherwise originally set aside by the amount that he's talking about.
Okay, last question on tuition to other schools. That's another line where we've are $500,000 over budget. And we had some discussion about the enrollment numbers, Dr. Homan, being lower, the projections being lower than last year. We were projecting a decline in the number of out-of-district students, but we didn't get a decline. Is that the cause for the increase, or was it another budget error?
Yeah. Can I just speak on the finance piece first? So that particular line, that object code showing the negative 547 remaining, that as of, actually today it was posted by the accounting office, that 599 that I have presented as still actuals from July through October that have to be charged to circuit breaker offsets that, and that's actually not over budget, if you will. So that 599 I present on page 7 would directly negate that 547 deficit. So we're actually in line with the budget for this year to spend out of district tuition.
And the October 1 numbers show an increase that is the snapshot from October 1, and our actual number at the moment is not that big of an increase as what we saw on October 1. So it was like a couple of students.
We didn't have an increase, we didn't have a decrease.
We didn't have a decrease, and we had projected a decrease. And it had looked like an increase on the October 1 numbers initially, and it's not as great of an increase as it had looked like initially. It's only a couple of students, so.
Thank you.
Schlickman? Could you discuss the professional tech services?
Sorry, which line?
Professional tech services, which is 520416, we're minus 219 on
To Mr. Schlickman, I could dig into that and report back. Everything, some of that's embedded within that would be stuff within our IT department, so some of our softwares within that, but also I believe some of our instructional tech-related investments are highlighted in there. That's certainly a line that I can audit and look into and report back and fully.
Okay, thank you, because that's the other big number we're taking a look there.
This is largely operational. Vendor, when we need to call a vendor out to come in and provide service, usually in IT.
Any other questions? Anything else? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, next is the superintendent's report. Dr. Homan.
All right. One moment. Okay. Earlier this week, Dallin was celebrated at the State House for earning the School of Recognition designation. This is a ceremony that's held every year. We were excited to be invited, myself and Mr. Dingman. We have also held some recognition at the school and had many opportunities to congratulate Dallin on their designation as a School of Recognition this year. Dallin received a citation from Representative Garbely's office, which is now proudly on display somewhere at Dallin, I'm sure. And we're really proud of that accomplishment for the Dallin School and wanted to provide that one more shout out following this week's celebration. Pictured there are all of the schools of recognition from across the state on the State House stairs, and very many superintendents and principals, proud principals, were in attendance earlier this week. As students, or as I think somebody, maybe it was Ms. Way, noted, the AF Innovation Showcase is taking place on January 31st. Next Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. This is the annual showcase where we have educators all over the district who have earned innovation grants, district improvement grants, or expansion grants from AEF come and show off all of the wonderful innovative things that they're working on with those dollars. All community members are invited to celebrate and contribute to the excellent work that's going on in our schools that is supported by the Arlington Education Foundation. This will be the first year that I will not be able to attend because I am chaperoning a skating team that day. But it's okay because the district improvement grant this year was to expand CPS at both Ottoson and the high school. And so Dr. Janger and Principal Rubino will be there presenting on this year's district improvement grant efforts and some of the work that's been happening at their schools. And so we're really excited about this. Hope that folks can show up and learn about all of the exciting things going on. It's at a different time than it's been. It's been in the evening before, and the hope was that this would allow more community members to be able to participate and learn more about AEF and the grants that they're providing. We have winter readiness preparations underway. Some of you may have heard that it might snow on Monday, Sunday into Monday. And we have some new equipment that has been supporting efforts to clear snow from school properties and has actually reduced some of the amount we may need to call vendors out to help us with snow clearing. The high school got a gator as part of the high school project. It's helping to clear snow because it has a snow plow attachment that goes on the front. And so they had a chance to try that out because we got some snow over this past weekend, which was great rehearsal opportunity. I just wanted to share with families because I also received some concerns when we had ice earlier in January on some of the sidewalks. That I worked very closely with town officials. I have talked with some folks in town about how I could get a read on sidewalks a little more, because while the roads were perfectly clear that morning, the sidewalks were dangerous and there were some slips and falls. Luckily, no major injuries. So I'm working on making sure that I have someone I can touch base with about the status of sidewalks, since we have so many walkers in town, in the event that we might need to send a warning out or let people know if the sidewalks are slippery. I do talk to the transportation director every morning, and we try to make a call by 5 a.m. so that we can get notice out to families, and so that we can make sure that any students who are coming in from Boston, we let the buses know before they roll, which is quite early in the morning. But hopefully, with the major storm coming, we'll know a little more a little sooner, and so we'll be able to get notice out to families so they can make arrangements and plans if we need to call a snow day. The town officials will meet and talk about a major snow event like the one we're going to have, to talk about what town or school operations may need to shut down. And so I anticipate that we'll be having that meeting at some point this weekend to talk about the upcoming storm. And we have also tested all of our notification sort of technologies to make sure that people are getting texts, they're getting emails. We did a lot of tests this fall to make sure that all of our lists were updated, and hopefully nobody has any challenges with that. But of course, if they do, they should reach out to our office and we'll get those squared away as quickly as possible. We do have February vacation coming up, so I just wanted to name that our vacation lunch, or not ours, Arlington Eats has a vacation lunch and grocery program. There are details there on the screen if you scan the QR code or go to Arlington Eats website that will allow for students and families to gain access to lunches or groceries or whatever they may need over the February vacation break. Also, we have an administrator hiring search that will be kicking up before too long. We have an interim principal at Pierce right now, and we will be doing a search for a permanent principal that will get started very soon. We have posted the role. It will be posted for 3 weeks. I'm going to be sharing out some more details with the full Pierce community tomorrow. All Pierce community members will have opportunities to weigh in on candidates. We're going to have initial and final rounds taking place, and hopefully a final decision around the end of February on that. And then your enrollments are included in your materials for today. Kindergarten enrollment is open. We opened it a few weeks ago in mid-January. We have 205 kindergarten registrations so far. I would compare that to previous years, but we hadn't had it open that early in previous years, and so I actually don't have a comparison for late January at the moment. It looks like it's tracking with what we've seen in the past. And I'll have a comparison for you when we hit early February. We'll have a date that we can compare to. If families register by February 13th, then they'll be in for those early buffer zone decisions. I'll be making buffer zone decisions pretty quickly from then on. And we're taking a similar strategy for now to what we had in prior years, sort of not quite knowing exactly what the sections will be, but understanding that we're keeping K1, 2 as steady as we can. So we're doing the same thing we did last year with the sections in kindergarten and trying to swing as much to relieve some enrollment pressure at Thompson, sort of away from Thompson. And we have the sections remaining at Hardy and Pierce that we had put in last year. Folks can, like I said, register by February 13th for early buffer zone decisions if that's impacting determinations surrounding after-school care. The after-school programs will not be making any calls on that until after buffer zone decisions have been made. And so folks can then register for after-school to be part of the lottery for selection there, and anyone can visit the APS website to register and for any more information that they may need, or reach out to the Welcome Center, who can answer any questions that people have. And that's all I have. I'm happy to take any questions.
Questions for Dr. Holman, Dr. Allison-Ampe?
Did you want to mention that the forum's been rescheduled?
Yes, also, I knew I was forgetting something. I'm also, yes, the budget forum, the third one, we have rescheduled to later in February. Help me with the date. The 24th.
24th, 7 to 8:30.
Thank you. It was previously going to be next week. We're going to move that budget forum. We've sent out a notice about that, or we will, and I can't remember if we sent that out already. We did. Fantastic. And I've been doing listening sessions with families over the past many weeks. I'm going to have another one tomorrow morning. They've been absolutely wonderful, and I've had a few families who have said, these times don't work for me, please put on some new times. So I will be also sharing out the sign-up form again with some additional times added in case any families want to participate in those. It's been wonderful to learn about people's experiences, what's going well, and what would worry them the most if we needed to make some reductions. I think a lot of what I've heard from families has aligned with the discussions that we've had here. And I'll be able to share some of that data because we're aggregating it with some of the other data we had collected as part of our budget process. So I look forward to reporting out on that and sharing more dates with families soon.
Any other questions for the superintendent? We'll move to the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the committee so requests, in which event the item will be considered in its normal sequence. Warrant number 26169, dated January 20th, 2026, for $1,071,922.88. School committee draft meeting minutes for January 8th, 2026.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Motion
Second.
by Mr. Schlickman,
Second.
second by Ms. Exton. We have to do a roll call. Ms. Gittleson.
Yes.
Ms. Alhat.
So close.
So
So close.
I started at 4:30 a.m. today. Ms. Sadat. Ms.
Yes.
Sadat, yes. It's like 5 meetings in a row, right? I messed up your name. Ms. Exton.
Yes.
Mr. Carden.
Yes.
Dr. Allison-Ampe.
Yes.
Professor Schlickman.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay, we're going to try again. Budget. Committee reports, subcommittee reports, budget.
Okay. Budget met yesterday. We discussed the periodic review that you received today and asked some more additional questions. We discussed the forum and agreed that rescheduling to in mid-February made more sense because at that point, so first, next week we won't have new and additional information, and the select board will vote the governor's budget will come out on the 27th or 28th?
28th.
28th. The select board will vote their number on February 9th, and the superintendent will present her proposal for the budget on the 12th. And so this gives us a lot of things for people to give feedback and get information about. So that's the change of dates being taken care of by the superintendent. And we discussed how we would like to see the budget book, and also had some discussion. The town manager has requested additional discussion with the superintendent, and I'll represent the school committee for what our budget would be, what the model would be going for the next 3 years. And we had discussion about what we thought was the most workable solution among the ones that we foresee being available to us. So.
Good. Any questions for Dr. Allison-Ampe? Curriculum, instruction, assessment, and accountability. Ms. Exton.
We are meeting on Tuesday, January 27th to discuss district goals, superintendent's goals, and a discussion of the superintendent evaluation process.
Very good. Community relations, Ms. Gittleson.
We are meeting on Thursday, February 5th. I hope to have an agenda soon.
Facilities, we don't have a report. Policies and procedures, Mr. Schlickman.
No report.
Arlington High School Building Committee, we are still, finishing up the final things with the project, and we'll be having meetings throughout 2026, but there's nothing major to report. Liaison reports, announcements, future agenda items. Executive session, we do not need one. Motion to adjourn by Mr. Schlickman, second by Dr. Allison Ampe. Roll call, Ms. Sadat.
Yes.
Oh, Ms. Exton.
Yes.
Mr. Cardin.
Yes.
Dr. Allison Ampe.
Yes.
Mr. Schlickman.
Yes.
Ms. Gittleson.
Yes.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
How did the chair vote?
The chair votes yes. The chair votes yes.